What's good, y'all? We are back with another YouTube video. Hope you guys are doing well and feeling blessed out there. Today's topic is going to be on labels. It's very easy to label. I've discussed it in previous videos as far as how we deem and talk about our health. It comes up in conversation. So often we just scoff and just say, I'm tired, and we easily take on and absorb those words. Or we know that we're sedentary and we're not moving, and we decide to get ourselves immersed in some sort of movement, and then we feel a flare up or a twinge, and our immediate reaction is to go see a physician, go get a diagnosis on something that may not need it, because it's going to have us rummaging through our brain when we don't need to. All right, so you go to get that diagnosis, you get that label, you go see a physician. Let's say you have a flare up or a twinge that's persisting and it's in your knee, and it could just be doing daily activities like going to bend down to pick something off the ground, and you're like, I need an opinion on it, because you may not be in a space or familiarity of even moving your body in general. So you don't know whether it's the differentiation between soreness, if it's just a capacity related thing and you need a few days to recover, or if it's genuinely like a fracture or a tear or some sort of structural damage. So you go see the physician, they want to get a second opinion, and they recommend going see, some MRI tech, and you go see an orthopedic surgeon, and now you're at the table and they're telling you about all these other things that you potentially have. You have a herniated disc that you haven't thought about in 15 years and you haven't been moving and you don't have any symptoms for, but it comes up on imaging. And this is very common for a lot of people. There's actually a ton of statistics in just general population, but especially in athletes that have these certain images of certain things structurally that may look slightly different than the norm, or maybe skewed, or may look like they are degenerative, but they have had no symptoms. But once they see the imaging, it changes their frame of mind and their psychology about how they go about it. Sometimes we can start to even conceptualize that, and in turn and wire our brain to think of pain that we don't even have. So reasons why we're talking about it and diving into it deeper as far as the label is: you go see the physician, you do get that MRI, they do recommend that you do go through the surgery. Now you are in some sort of cast, or you have some sort of stitching. You're then working to just get your, general protocol or range of motion to be able to do the daily activities that you want to do for that specific area or region. And I just want to remind you, not necessarily just be super guarded and cautious. Of course, seek, a professional and someone with great advice and somebody that can give you a good roadmap. But if your first instance is to just go in that direction and you don't look at some of the underlying issues and habits that could help prevent or put you in a better state to be able to not only run into those situations, but be able to mitigate them and be able to overcome them, so when they do come your way, you have a fighting chance, you have to look at that first. The reason why that is first and why that is the priority, because it is so easy to be able to point the finger and look at something else to blame and be like, okay, well, this professional, this clinician was able to give me this diagnosis, and this is what I can confide in. And I can completely understand. I'm not trying to say that in a way that's not empathetic, because the structural damage and the association with that, I get it can be daunting, it can be challenging, it could be a really long roadmap. But what the message I'm trying to drive home is more so taking the accountability and being able to realize that you can create the foundation to not only put yourself in situations to even prevent getting there, even though stress and pain, we're not spared and it's inevitable. But having that foundation and being able to rely on that is going to help you not only prevent and potentially even avoid, but it's even going to put you in spaces to where if you do have those flare-ups that do happen to all of us, you're going to be able to mitigate them much easier. You're going to have the metabolic condition and health to be able to persevere through those things. You're going to have a stronger immune system. So you have to take that into account when you're going to get that diagnosis or that imaging. Of course, it serves its purpose. There's definitely a time and place when it makes sense and it's conducive and it's still going to get you back to what you need to. But this is specific to the person that is really in a sedentary mind state that wants to just be able to put that off to the side and be able to be like, that's what it is, and now I'm going to just sit idle and sit on the sidelines. I don't want you to sit on the sidelines, and neither should you. You should want to be in a situation where you are ready to play at any point, whether it is just off the cuff with friends and playing a sport and being able to move, whether it's with family or playing with the kids and being able to just pick up a ball on a Saturday afternoon. I just want to drive that message of it's so easy and it's very popularized as far as giving out these labels of I'm this body type, I have this thing that's plaguing me, and feeling comfortable and staying within that frame. But I want to challenge you in the sense of reminding you as well that building that foundation is going to be the end all be all for it all. And obviously we all have different spectrums of what that looks like for us in our life and what's feasible for us in our life. And that stuff I've even expounded upon as well. Like, you have to figure out and prioritize what is of that importance to you. There's some people on the spectrum that want to look like they're magazine ready all the time and that they can play and run all the sports at all times at a really high elite level. There's some people that just want to feel comfortable and confident in their clothes and want to be able to just know that their markers and their vitals are good when they go to the doctor once a year. So you have to figure out where you're on that totem pole, but you should at least want to be along that spectrum rather than the spectrum of, I'm nervous that the next time I do go to just, see something for my knee, that they're actually going to recommend, and I see something even more underlying, and you should go see a physician, and now they're going to put you on a prescription. So definitely want you to really hear me when I say that, and I'll say it again slowly, that don't just focus on these diagnoses and these labels. You have to focus on the foundation, and it's a never-ending game. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way or place to point it in a different direction. It all becomes intrinsic, and you have to find a way. And my other messages that I drive throughout all the stuff I talk about is find whatever environments that are conducive to support that. I completely am a proponent myself of, I didn't do it alone. It took a village. I had a ton of support from family and parents and friends that put me into certain things and activity, and like that's a driver for me. And even as I got older and I wanted to explore and figure things out, I was around the right groups or tried to find people to connect with to do the thing, to get better at it, to learn, whether it's a technical skill in the gym, whether it's a skill acquisition or coordination in a sport, or how to move my body and how to know what it's like in space. And that just made me more inquisitive. Like, you should have the same kind of notion or same kind of feeling for yourself. It's your body, it's the one you go to sleep with. Like, I just want to remind you of that. We're so easily just swayed by all the information that we see, and we just put our hands into that, and we don't start to ask questions. We don't start to dive deeper. We only start to ask questions when it's towards the end, when it's the prescription, when it's I'm going to be in a cast now, like, what do I do? And I just want to remind you, you have way more control than you think, and you should feel empowered to do so because you have a lot at your disposal. That's all I really got. Wanted to get that off my chest. It's been a minute. It's been a few days since I got to tap in with y'all. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch y'all next time. Peace.